why are the best sport climbers also the best boulderers? That is something I've been fascinated with for a while now, because you're not alone. Like you and Jakob, and I think of like Brooke Rabitou, who's climbed 9B plus routes, or Excalibur. She did Excalibur 9B plus, and she's also one of the best female boulderers. Janja obviously just climbed bibliography 9B plus, and did bugalizing in like 15 minutes or something. And it's fascinating because it seems like it shouldn't make sense. Like I was thinking about track and field, like at the Olympic level in track and field, you would never see, you never see a 5,000 meter runner, so a 5K runner, also competing in the 400. It just doesn't happen. Like 5,000 takes like 12 minutes, or 15 minutes or something, which is somewhat similar to sport climbing. Obviously, sport climbing is a little bit more like sprints and then rests and things, but you're on the wall for longer than that often. And then a 400 takes like 45 seconds, which is similar to bouldering. And they're just such different physiological profiles for those top athletes. Like they never compete in those two things. So why is it that you and Jakob and Brooke and Janja and Will Bosey and these other amazing sport climbers that do both are matching the top level of the specialists who only ever boulder? Let's just roll right into that. What do you think is happening there?
All right.
Do you have an explanation?
My theory is that hard sport climbing is somewhere in between 400 and 800 meter run.
Interesting.
You can't really compare the length of the performance because running at your max is just much more intense. So a typical, let's say, comp lead route takes around 3 minutes to climb. But the intensity goes up and down a lot. It's not like you just try really hard from second one all the way to 180, There's maybe half a second where you try really hard, and then it's 3 seconds a little bit less, and then half a second really hard. So I think it's hard to compare with the times, because for 3 minutes on the wall, it's a lot of maybe climbing with like a half intensity, and then it's like really short amount of time when you try really hard. And it applies to bouldering as well. For example, this is like Jakob is a strong advocate for this, Jakob Schubert. He thinks that even 15 move boulder rounds are mostly training for like max power, because again, you just can't compare the effort of maybe 50 seconds that it takes to climb a 15 move to running or, lifting weights, because it's just so much more intensity in a very short amount of time. I'm not saying like you should only train by doing 15 move boulder rounds. There is definitely a certain also technical element, which is really hard to try just like one extremely hard move. But I think the main explanation is this, that there might be some specific climbs which feel more like, 5,000 meter run, but they are really rare. And the problem is they're even more rare if you want to climb a natural route. The natural routes will always be much more bouldery and much more focused on like hard moves with some intro and some outro. So maybe climbers 20 years ago, when most of the really hard routes were chipped and actually long and just bumpy, those climbers would probably not be that good in bouldering. But I think the current generation of most of the best sport climbers are also very strong. And especially on the comps. Like the intensity of the comp routes nowadays is so high that everybody is doing just a lot of bouldering on a spray wall to be actually really strong.
That all makes sense. So maybe a better comparison in the running world would be like doing a very easy jog and then sprinting for 100 meters and then jogging again. And interesting. Yeah, that makes
maybe
a lot of
more
sense.
like 5 meters almost.
A 5 meter sprint. Yeah. Just one hard
And
move
then,
and then get to the knee bar. And yeah.
And then it also depends, how well you can rest by jogging 50 meters and then again for 5 meters and stuff like this.
Mm-hmm.
Like the effort in rock climbing and comp climbing is also quite different. So
Right.
you need like a different fitness for hard rock climbs and hard comp routes.
Well, yeah, that is also interesting. Like you said, a hard comp route on site only takes 3 minutes, which I hadn't really thought about. That's true. I mean, that's even more like pumpy and sustained than anything you get outside. Usually outside the cruxes are even shorter and you're resting a lot more. Yeah,
exactly. And I would say maybe the most important thing in hard sport climbs is like your ability to rest. And one thing, if it's like a jog or if it's a knee bar.
If you find videos like this helpful, I put together a free masterclass on how to unlock your full potential in climbing, where I share some of the best nuggets I've learned from interviewing the best climbers in the world. It's for any climber who wants to improve, and it'll help you take your climbing to the next level. Link in the description below if you want to check it out.
I mean, the other side of it that's still pretty amazing and impressive to me is just the time allocation. Like even though you're mostly, it sounds like bouldering on a spray wall to get better at route climbing, to just get strong, you still have to spend a lot of time doing it and honing that specific, the pacing is a little bit different. You just, that's a lot of time that you're allocating to other forms of training that boulderers just for the most part aren't doing. So how is it, like you would think that the people that only ever spend their time board climbing and trying the hardest boulders would still like have a little bit of an edge just because their time focus. Whereas you and Jakob and Brooke and Janja, you're all splitting your time between these different things. So I guess that begs the question, like, do you think that the sport climbing training is serving your bouldering in some way? Like, is it helpful in some way to do both?
I think outdoors, it also comes down to the fact that a lot of boulders are a bit longer, and it is convenient to have a little bit of power endurance, and maybe also having the experience from sport climbing to have like the best flow or efficiency, which I think is really hard to train if you only ever climb on a board. Because there maybe, the right flow and efficiency is not as important. For example, Alphain is just the 9 moves. And then the rest is like, you should not drop, even though people dropped.
Yeah.
Those 9 moves, it feels long for 9 moves. And it is definitely kind of a bowl problem where, moving really efficiently helps a lot. And on the other hand, it's possible definitely to find like a really short bowl problem, but I would say it's maybe harder to find one. And also, I think most importantly, even though we are more sort of like a boulder or more sport climber, trying and projecting and sieging slightly longer bowl problems, I think for most people it's more fun. Because you're more likely just to progress every session. Whereas if it's like just 3 really hard moves, it's just so much easier to get frustrated and to reach a plateau or even regress and stuff like this, which I haven't really projected a bowl problem for a really long time. And the only times that I did were only like slightly longer bowl problems.
Yeah.
And I think I would struggle really a lot mentally to try something short like Burden, for example.
Yeah, you just end up spending most of your time staring at your skin and like chalk.
Yeah.
You don't get to climb that much, really.
Yeah. I think I'm like mentality. I'm a sport climber. I like want to climb a lot, but there are definitely very interesting things that I can uncover in bouldering. And flashing bowl problems felt like the most distilled version of it, without too much stress and too much staring in your skin, and and at the same time feeling like you can actually climb a lot during the day. So you do something for warm up, you do your flash try, and then maybe you can try some easier warm down flashes for the end of the day.